Let's start with an easy one. What's your name?
I'm Skoglund.
And how do you stay positive?
I think that positivity is sort of inbred. It comes with your personality package, and I have always been a positive person, so there's no negativity to me.
Which of your skills as an agent are you most confident in?
My intuition, because I seem to always know what is best for the buyers and the sellers. And sometimes they go along with me and sometimes they don't.
What has been your favorite Beverly-Hanks memory so far?
Well, I think it was back when I first started in the 80s, and I was in the South office with 11 people. And Neil Sr. told us if we hit 20 million that year, that was a big number that year, that he would take us out for dinner. And we went out for dinner, and he hired a van, and we went to some crazy Chinese restaurant. And then we went back to the office and had more cocktails, and he got out his guitar and sang. And we had one of the best nights ever.
If you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself in your first year of real estate?
I think I would tell myself to relax a little. I was so on point and worked so hard, and it did work out really well. I developed a great business, but I didn't seem to get the flow of it at all. You need to take time off when you get it, and then work hard when you do need to.
What advice would you give a brand new agent starting out at Beverly-Hanks?
Work with your sphere of influence. That is the most important thing. And care about your people, and they'll care about you.
Do you have any adventures planned for 2022?
I wish I could say yes, but I think COVID has pretty much squashed a lot. I am taking my grandson out west. Usually I take my whoever's turning 13 or 14, I take them to Europe in the summer, but this year it's out of the question. So we're going on an out west trip, and I'm determined I'm going no matter what.
Do you have any favorite traveling stories?
Well, when we went to Morocco, it was an awful lot of fun. It was also the most exotic trip I've ever taken. But our children were sure that we'd be kidnapped and cut into little pieces because it was 5 widows going by themselves who were in their 70s. But the people were fabulous. They were very welcoming and warm, and we stayed in riads, and the food was incredible, and it was just exotic to the max.
What is your favorite way to celebrate success?
I'd have to say with my family. Celebrating success for me is all about doing things with people you really care about.
Which do you find most gratifying, buyers or sellers?
I find them both gratifying. They're very different. Sellers, you're usually helping them on to a new phase in life, and buyers, you're introducing them to a new lifestyle.
Are you a texter or a caller?
I really do both. It depends on the situation. If I have something to tell somebody that is unpleasant, I will always call them. If I have just run-of-the-mill info that needs to be passed, I'll text.
Who is the last person you called?
Well, that was this morning, and I called a new seller to set up a time to just run the last few little things we have to do before we shoot the pictures and go.
What do you have planned for today?
I am going to show some property this afternoon, and I have 2 buyers that want to look at the same property, so I'm trying to coordinate them.
Did you have a business goal for this past year?
My business goal is always the same, and that's to do at least as well as I did last year and to have a great time doing it.
Did you meet your goal or have a great time doing it?
I did, on both scores.
And are they the same goals for next year?
Absolutely.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up on Long Island and in New York City. We had a house in Long Island, an apartment in New York.
What did you love about growing up in New York?
New York is the city that never sleeps, 24/7. You can go anywhere, any restaurant. You can see shows. You have a million museums to go to. They're always putting great new things in the Hudson River, or new buildings you can climb, or whatever.
Do you have any fond memories of growing up?
Oh, I do. After proms, we used to go into New York City and get a carriage and ride around Central Park.
Did you have a favorite restaurant in New York?
I would say the River Club in Brooklyn.
What brought you to Asheville?
My husband's business brought me to Asheville. He had lived here for a while and belonged to this club, and wanted to get back here, and his business made that possible.
Where do you consider home now?
Oh, definitely Asheville.
What neighborhood or community do you live in?
I live in Biltmore Forest.
What do you love about Biltmore Forest?
I love the walkability of it, the beauty of it, but what I really love is that it's a real town. There are houses in here that were built over 100 years, and some of them sell for $400,000 and some of them sell for $10 million. So it's every type of person living in here.
What are some of your hobbies?
I love to travel, I love to garden, and I like fitness ventures.
What do you love about gardening?
Oh, gardening, it's just so beautiful here because we can grow almost anything, southern things, Pacific Northwest things. Every single year I try to rearrange and do a new little vignette in some part of my garden.
What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for, I guess, just the entire life I've lived.
Do you have a large family?
Well, it's not huge. I had 2 children and I have 4 grandchildren, and that's average size, I guess.
Do you have any animals you would consider family?
No, I'm not an animal person.
What is your favorite room in your house?
My favorite room is the room I call the media room. It's got lots of light, but it's got my Peloton, which is really important. And then it's got a place for me to work, my business area, and it's got a place to relax.
Do you have any special memories in your home?
Well, I bought my home in 1977, and that's weird for a realtor. Why did I never move? But I raised my family there, so all those memories are special.
What is your favorite time of day?
5:30.
Why 5:30?
Because I can kick back and just relax.
How do you recharge?
Oh, I recharge by going on trips. I recharge by going on hikes. I recharge by just getting together with friends.
If you could switch lives with someone for one day, who would it be?
Dua Lipa. I think I'd switch lives with Dua Lipa.
Why Dua Lipa?
I just would love to be able to sing the way she does with Elton John.
What was your first car?
My first car was a Chevy Impala convertible, and it was black with red interiors and a white top.
What was your dream car?
Oh, my dream car is a Porsche, I think.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
I'm a morning person, definitely.
Do you have a morning routine?
I do. I get up and I work out first, and then I have breakfast, and I do it very quietly. I don't look at my email or make any phone calls or anything else, or don't look at texts. And then I start my day after that.
How did you start your day today?
Well, today I got up and I rode my Peloton. And I'm a Cody fan, so I rode Cody's XOXO ride. And if anybody rides Peloton, they know what I'm talking about. And I love his love advice. Not that I need it, but XOXO is his love advice.
How long did you ride this morning?
I rode 30 minutes.
Which of your skill sets are you most interested in mastering?
Organization. That is, I definitely need help there. I am not a very organized person. I seem to always know where everything is, and I'm on top of it, but I could do better.
Do you have a favorite local nonprofit?
I do. I like the education nonprofits, and so I'm on the foundation board at AB Tech, and I also do a lot of work with Warren Wilson.
If you could make a documentary on any topic, what would it be?
I think it would be a travel. It would be a documentary on travel and how travel enlarges your understanding of other people.
Are there any places you haven't traveled to yet that you want to?
Definitely, Africa.
What about Africa intrigues you?
Well, the animals intrigue me. I definitely want to go on a safari. And then Egypt intrigues me because their history is so interesting and their artifacts.
Which hobby or activity would you like to master?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would love to just get better at the whole fitness routine.
What advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
The best is yet to come.
Do you have any words of wisdom or a quote you like to use?
It's not that deep.
And our last question, why Beverly-Hanks?
Well, when I started, it was 1986, and Beverly-Hanks was, and still is, the premier real estate company to work for. Not only from an achievement standpoint, but from a personal standpoint. I just think the agents are great. Neil Sr. and George Beverly were fantastic leaders, and Neil Jr. is a fantastic leader.